All right, let's go to the truck race. The truck race, we saw Zane Smith ending up in victory lane. Congratulations to him. Ben Rhodes was second. Christian Akis was third. Tanner Gray. Parker Kligerman was fifth. And actually, he gave Zane Smith the great push to get to the front of that pack and win that race. So congratulations to both those guys, Jesse Little, Ty Majeski, Danny Brown, Carson, and Matt Benedetto. He must, yeah. He obviously is a rookie, a new guy coming into the sport there, and just not familiar with him. But that is your top 10 for the Camping World Truck Series. I'll go over to the Xfinity race. Well, this is points for that, and they pretty much line up with everything that happened with the race there. Let me see if I can find my Xfinity points here, or I'm sorry, my Xfinity. I don't seem to have it on here, but that's okay. Xfinity yesterday was a great race. Obviously, at the end of it, we had the big crash with Myatt Snyder, and glad to see him walk away because it was a pretty nasty accident with the engine, the motor popping out of the thing, the axle popping out. Everything pretty much stayed tethered, except the guys on television.
The engine.
Yeah, the motor. Yeah, how do you do that? You can't do that. I mean, I'm sure there's a way, but they don't. It's not in place now because it's so rare to see that happen in a normal crash. It's only when that car gets up into that fence. The fence is like a cheese grater at that point. It just starts ripping parts and things off the car. One of them was the motor, and that is a dangerous situation to have. And we've seen it multiple times. This is not like it's the first time this has happened in NASCAR. So maybe this is something NASCAR needs to take a better look at, that when at a super speedway, getting into the fence could be an issue.
And perhaps it's a double, a fence behind a fence to catch, some of the debris that might fly out. And I don't know if it's going to catch an engine, but it's sort of like you see at these driving ranges for golf, that just a net of some sort that might pick up some of these smaller parts. Something along the lines that might have prevented some of this debris going into Jordan's encampment. I mean, it's a miracle nobody was hurt or killed.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, they got
I've
pretty
seen
lucky
it
there.
happen. I've been on site and actually saw an axle fly over my head, and it was you just knew if you got hit by one of those, you were done.
Yeah. All right, I got the Xfinity finish here. It was Austin Hill, who's a rookie because he moved up from trucks and now racing with RCR. AJ Allmendinger, who seems to always finish second, doesn't like these super speedway races, but he always seems to be there at the end. Unfortunately, hasn't been able to get to victory lane. Noah Gregson, Riley Herbst, Justin Allgaier, Sheldon Creed, Anthony Alfredo. This guy, I got to be honest with you. So he, at the beginning of the race, had his right side passenger window fly out of the side. It just popped out of the side of the car.
Air
So
pressure.
he gets called in. They call him in. He has to go to pits. The team is frantically trying to get a side window, probably going to the backup car, got to go back to the hauler. But when he got there, it wasn't in his pits yet. So it delayed him. He got 2 laps down and almost went 3 laps down. And then a caution comes out. And by the last, I think, 20 laps, he ends up back on the lead lap and finishes 7th, man. Great run for that kid.
Just a classic lesson, and never give up.
Yeah, no
In an
kidding.
auto race, it comes down to the last lap. If you look at Abu Dhabi and Formula One,
Oh, no
and
kidding. Great example.
Verstappen, they've changed a lot of things because of that incident. But, Verstappen had every right to take advantage of what the FIA race stewards, race control had laid down. Whether or not he could have made it beyond those 5 cars, he probably could have with fresh tires. It's not It's not 100% guarantee that Hamilton would have won that race, whether they had allowed the cars to stay where they were, the lapped cars to stay where they were, or let him catch up. It wasn't 100% guarantee. So his world title, Verstappen's, stands, much to Hamilton's dismay. and the whole drama that was literally choreographed to get what Mercedes wanted. And
Yeah.
that was to get Michael Masi out of the way, even though I think that's unfair to Masi, quite frankly. He made a mistake. He didn't misinterpret the rules, but he did take it a little too far. So the rules allegedly are a little tighter now, a little more strict. We'll see. We'll see. It's like Mossy said to Toto on the radio, because these team principals were literally lobbying race control on the radios. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do this. You got to do that. And now they're not allowing them to talk to the FIA anymore, which I think is a good thing. They shouldn't be able to. The stewards should be able to make up their minds without a lot of input from the teams. What
Yeah, what is
happened
the real
happened.
quick, what is um the new race control, like the trackside race control that they have, or the what is that
It's
they're
now
talking about?
virtual.
Yeah, the
Now, what does
virtual.
that actually mean? I'm going to ferret that out this week. I'll figure that one out.
All right.
I'll call Bo Barfield, who's a friend of mine over at IMSA. He's a race director,
Yeah.
because he knows I want to know exactly what it means for F1. And if any changes have been made in IMSA as a result of what they saw in F1.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to know, because a lot of Europeans are headed this way to run in the IMSA series with the prototypes. And I was so glad to see them bring back the moniker of GTP for the prototypes instead of LDMH and all these different names for these cars. It's just GTP, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I will say I do like the GTD as well with the Pro.
Oh, yeah. And
And
then the
then
AM.
yeah, it's basically this exact same
It is.
car. It's just the quality of driver behind the
Well, I
wheel.
think
And
the wing, one has a bigger wing than the other, the Pro Series, slightly bigger wing and a little bit more downforce. I think that's the only difference in the two.
I'll have to look that one up. I believe they're exactly the same. The only thing different is the tips of the wings, and then the number, and then the lights that have, when they're the order lights, are a certain color.
And one has pro drivers and the other amateur.
Yeah, but
And
I will
let's
say
face it,
some of the
without the amateurs, though the amateurs are excellent. I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
listen, if it weren't for gentlemen drivers, there wouldn't be sports car racing. Let's just be honest about it. So thank God for the gentlemen drivers. They fund it, you know.
Yeah,
And then you get the very, very wealthy who can field, a prototype of one of the GTP cars, which a lot of money for 12. I believe it's 12 races they've got. Yeah, it's close to 12 races on their schedule. So I'm very interested to see what those cars actually turn out to be, because some of the LMP2 cars are pretty fast and they're able to run a little longer. Um, if you take a look at where the world is headed with the LDMH cars, the hybrids, they're going to be allowed to run WEC under that name. I think that the LDMH cars are going to be able to run in IMSA, maybe under a different name. But you do notice that there are a lot more European teams coming over. Oddly enough, if you look at Villeneuve in NASCAR, that's a Dutch team. That's a European team,
that's
not an
right.
American team, which is,
Yeah,
I find pretty cool that it's out of the Netherlands and they come
that's right.
from GT Racing. I think it's a good thing.
I
The
do
more
agree.
competition, the better, man. More the
Yeah,
better.
and I'm glad to see him in it again. Yeah, I thought I would see a little more action from some out. I actually thought we would see another manufacturer come in with the new car,
Yeah.
because it gives them an opportunity to kind of come in as a even playing field, if you will. But knowing the landscape of parts and pieces, and getting things here, maybe that was a little more difficult to make happen. But hopefully we do see. I know the big rumor was that Dodge may make a comeback,
That'll
which I
be a
think is,
next year deal, I think.
yeah. And
I
then
think they're
even the,
sitting back and watching to
yeah,
see what happens.
and then the Honda rumor just never dies. That one always keeps popping up because Obviously, they
It
are
popped
involved in
up all over the racing world. Let's face it. It's in IndyCar. It's in Formula One with Red Bull taking over the engines up until Porsche takes over in 2026, I believe. Those cars will be powered by Porsche engines.
which ones?
The Red
Red
Bull.
Red Bull.
Yep.
So I did see that. So it says Red Bull powertrain. So what did they do there? Did they take over making their own engines?
Yeah, they took Honda. Honda allowed them to take over the entire power plant division for Formula One. So that is now Red Bulls, but Honda originally was just going to hand it off and give them the employees that they'd had working on the Honda F1
Sure.
program. What's actually taken place is Honda's decided, okay, we're gonna stay in it a little more with you and hold your hand a little bit more so you're successful. But now they've got, it'll come to an end when Porsche takes over, and Porsche's ready for it. Right now, they're testing their LDMH car for next season in prototypes. So what they learn there, that will be transferred, to the F1 cars. We're
I
going
think
to see
Porsche.
more of the electric.
Yeah, I think Porsche coming to the sport would be excellent. I would love to see. I love seeing these guys in IMSA. I love seeing their program that they have with the. It just makes sense. I've been in that world with the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis and the Porsche, and I think they're on that same playing field, and I love seeing those types of cars race against each other. And I think same thing with the NASCAR guys, with the car looking more like the Mustang, the car looking more
Yeah.
like the Camry and the Chevy, the Camaro, which is awesome. It's great to see, but listen, it's still a pretty universal body on that thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just they'd put a clip
Chassis
on the front. Yeah,
definitely is. I mean, you could swap bodies between any of the chassis, and they're the same.
I need to swap bodies because
You and me both.
this one's not working for me anymore.
Yeah, where's the doppelganger thing? With the AI and all that. Download
Yeah,
my brain and fix it while they're at it.
yeah.
Recode it.
That's right. That's right. I need the update version. Isn't there
Yeah.
a 2.1?
Yeah.
All right. He's Michele Rahal. I'm Rob D'Amico. It's Race Day Nation. And man, it's so much fun to be back and talking racing. And I can't wait for the fans to interact when we start going live with this thing. We're just trying to work out all the bugs to make sure when we do it live, everything is top notch, and you guys get to talk to us and get involved and interact with the program, because that was back when we were doing Race Day on Fox was my favorite part. Getting with the fans, letting them interact, having them call in, getting questions answered. And sometimes the fans had a little more information than we may have because of a connection from a family member or something,
Sure.
which was really cool to see. And
It
I
was
love
great when
having,
we were on site and people would hold up signs, Rob and Michelle, welcome, that kind
yeah.
of thing. It
I
was
think
great.
my favorite time was Richmond. When we went to Richmond, the
Yes.
fans there were spectacular. It
We
was
were on a
awesome.
stage and we had a beautiful crowd. And Ruth Himondis, am I correct? I'm not sure if I'm
I
pronouncing it
don't.
right.
It is Ruth. I don't remember the last name.
She
It
was
is Ruth.
holding up a sign
Yeah.
that's, welcome and all that. It was great. Had a good time. Had a
Yeah.
fantastic time.
Yeah. I
And now
love it.
we'll be able to get good, really top-notch guests from
That's
all
right.
sides of the fence. Some Formula One contacts that I have. I think we'll be able to get a couple of Formula One people who are in the game and know what's going on. If not, possibly a driver. You never
Yeah.
know.
Oh,
Daniel Ricciardo loves this, so
Yeah. We'll get it. All the guests, starting with the live programs. Don't think we're just going to be out here blowing hot air. It's not, it's not what you want to hear. It's not what we want to hear. You also want to hear from, because I can't take too much, Michelle. Listen, it's been a
hey,
decade.
listen, I blow a
I
lot
got to
more
get
hot air
doses.
now than I used to.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. But we'll have guests on. We'll do it up. It'll be nice. We'll clean up the studio a little bit. I may move it from the basement somewhere else, but
Yes, you can't hear her screaming.
yeah, yeah.